phase 3 of a series from Objects on My Dresser, an attempt to do a 20th century still life of objects that were collected for over a period of 20 years. And rather than traditionally taking a brush and oil paint and painting a picture, I did an analysis of them. What color, what material, who gave them to me, how dear they are, what their value. And this was my analysis of the still life. And to get into it more deeply, I gave each object a correlative and a word to its correlative image and a word to the object, and then measured how the words related to each other, the same as the way the images related to each other. In talking about these with a psychiatric social worker, these cards and images related in such an integrated way that the computer analysis of these resulted in a spiderweb plot. When I displayed these in an exhibit, people were wondering, why did I place one image in one word theme, in another image in another word theme? These 6 word themes had evolved during the discussion of these images. That was when I decided to have a participation event where people could choose their own word themes for the placement of the images. Well, whatever you feel like. You could start with 1 or 2.
Right, I'm going to choose one color.
Okay. Now, where are you going to put that?
No.
Don't worry about this theme. This is my choice.
Just as I say.
Okay. Would you choose the theme axis over there and place it where you'd like to?
Oh, all right. Well, definitely moving. Now, what about how close
You
to
can put it any place you want. This is for documentation purposes.
What is
data. The significance is that there are these numbers. This is a numbered card, and when I put the data into the computer, it puts a spot on the number of the axis. Where you place it has no significance.
None at all?
No.
I mean, if I go close to the epicenter
That's
or far away?
that's a psychological significance, but a technical data significance, it has none. It's only for computing purposes. So place that along that axis.
I feel I'm committing myself to something and I don't know what it is.
Well, why don't you
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, would you like to pick another one, or should we start and
No,
talk about
I'd
this?
like to pick another one.
Okay. Now remember. Okay. And where would you like to put that one?
Well, all mine seem to go on moving.
Well, that's all right.
Eh?
Movie seems to be the most popular one amongst the artists and the
Is that
ladies
right?
anyway. Yes.
Oh, I wonder why. I'll have one more.
Okay. Choose one more.
This is completely out of character with the rest, but I'm choosing cards that caught my attention. Is that the idea?
Well, I'm going to ask you why after you place it. Where did you put that?
Well, this one is definitely going to go because that's the only reason I think I chose that, because it caught my eye.
Okay. Now let's start with the first card.
Yeah.
What card did you choose? What is that?
Those are drawings of chairs and furniture and dressers.
Why did you choose that?
Well, I find that I'm in a collection of cards. I'm almost always attracted by a drawing.
The art group, rather than the ambiguous and confused response to this theme by the other 2 groups, had a range of associations anticipated. It must be kept in mind that the art group was not an occupational affinity group. The law group's claim was that the bare-breasted woman is logically placed on chest. This expresses that group's perfunctory response to this theme, and it could be an attempt to underplay the sexual import. At the end, we have what I consider the 20th century portrait of a single group, the Sarah Lawrence College, where we get a summary of responses on the left. This is their configuration. The predominant concept displayed within this group was the idea of growth. This is a young group, very career-oriented. The last is a single portrait of my mother and my relationship with her. Comments about this artwork being a reflection of our current times, a living art, may indeed be a reflection of their social attitudes. The law group showed a careful approach to matters and an alertness to visual clues. Regarding the word theme hand, the science group indicated a manipulation as being evident in their response. The use of hands was essential in experimental work for organic chemists. The art group showed a persistent physical stimulus by this theme. To get things and self in motion is the general response by the art group. The law group, it was the hand theme, had an attitude of control rather than manipulation. In general, the law group responded matter-of-factly, leave it the way it is now, so the evaluation can be objective and valid. Regarding the masking theme, the science group, interestingly, felt masking of intentions is significant to this group. These scientists prefer a simple, precise presentation of information. Masking became an immodesty. The art group, for the theme masking, elicited predominantly physical responses involved to the masking process. Wearing clothes, looking eye with mask over face, making a movie or acting, looking through the mask, some aesthetic reaction noted. For the law group, although no chess games were placed in this theme, a tone of strategy prevailed. And uncertainty in object identification was construed as the intent of the object to mask itself. It is curious that 4 of the 6 available hand mirrors were placed in this theme, and not one participant discussed the choice for this theme masking. Extending the concept of doing a painting is still life through analysis of its objects. This is a 20th century portrait that, in depicting the person's features, consists of an analysis of their personality characteristics. Here you see a portrait of my mother and the relationship of my mother to me. The I is representative of me, the I word theme on the axis at the right. This word theme was most predominant in my own portrait analysis, and that is why this I is superimposed, this enlarged I is superimposed over this netweb characteristic personality analysis of my mother. This is a list of the objects, and these were color-coded into 6 groups of words for data put into another computer program. Red stood for love and sex, blue, green stood for C, S-E-E, S-E-A, and here, H-E-A-R. Yellow were categorized as holders, green money, violet mystery, flesh color games, and then all the negative words were grouped into brown and the positive words grouped into an orange code. Yes.
Or the 8th seat. I chose the 8th seat. And that seemed another variation on the whole sexual concept. And when I brought that over, there's already another 8th seat to the left of the C line. Mm-hmm. And it just, I like the balance between the two, so I placed it there as the third point.
So the SDE line, is that right?
Right.
And you placed it next to the other like it.
Right, exactly so. Mm-hmm. And then my last choice was the 22C. Mm-hmm. And that seemed to represent a whole other development of the feminine beyond the purely sexy. I saw that as metaphysical. Mm-hmm. And that's why I thought that it fitted the progression well, it seems to me.
And what that, which axis did you put that one on?
And that was placement.
The position of the woman with the mouse, the 13C, and the couple.
Right.
Did you have a sense of a connection, a link, an activity going between those two? When you placed them next to each other, or some...
Yeah, it seemed like the most logical place to put it on the axis at the time that I placed it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I would have placed it in a different place.
If you haven't seen that. Yeah, okay.
The first one I chose was 14C. And it was chosen because my whole life has revolved around children lately. Mm-hmm. And when I carried it over to be placed, it was placed on the I-axis, but not because it was the I-axis. It was because of the 12C was already there. And having a child pulled from that sex symbol seemed very appropriate.
Now, which you chose, which number?
14C.
14C, okay.
It was my choice.